My name is David. I'm currently a student at Brown University working on a project trying to bring awareness to lead and clean water for communities.
You're awesome. Give me a hand. We're working on lead and water.
Please use the microphone. Thank you.
I guess my question mainly is, you talked a lot about empowering communities. What's kind of the best way to empower our communities to make sure that they have the power to bring more awareness about the issue? I guess another question of mine is, we talked about how a lot of the cities here in the New England area and also the Midwest are old. The infrastructure is old. There's a lot of lead inside our water. How do we kind of, there's a lack of dollars, but how can we push to get as much as removed as possible?
Sure. So the first question was how do you empower communities? I don't empower anybody. They're empowered. I mean, I am not the voice of the community. They have an amazing voice. And throughout this crisis, they were being dismissed and denied and neglected. And what's happening right now is an active self-determination process, is those voices being brought back to the table purposefully, so that we can hear and respect and listen to those voices. So we just need to kind of step back and listen. They're empowered, they're engaged, they're loud, they're organized, they're smart. Our activists, our moms in Flint were so smart. They were teaching the EPA how to sample when the EPA came in. They're like, no, this is how you do sequential sampling. And they were going around and working with other communities right now. The second question was about infrastructure, how do we get the resources, or what do we do until we're able to replace this infrastructure? So I think that comes back to kind of be the precautionary principle, take precautions. If we know that there is a neurotoxin delivering our drinking water and we have a vulnerable population, take precautions. So we can't get all the lead out right away. It takes a long time. There's only 2 cities in the country that have replaced their lead pipes. Do you guys know which ones? Lansing, Michigan, and Madison, Wisconsin. 2 cities in the country that have done full lead service line replacements. Flint is the 3rd. We're almost done. Within this year, we will have replaced all of our lead lines. But the other 2 years, it took them over a decade. Flint's doing it it feels like forever, but it's 2 to 3 years are full line replacements. But it takes time until we have the dollars and the workforce trained and the folks that are able to do this work. We should take precautions, respecting the science that there is no safe level of lead, that corrosion control is not 100% guarantee, and that we have a lot of lead not only in our service lines, but also in our premise plumbing, which is the lead inside our homes. So the simple things that people can do, they can flush their water. So after long periods of non-use, 6 hours or so, you should flush your water. So turn on the cold water, let it run until it's really cold, and then you're getting that water from the main. So that's one thing people can do, which is hard if there's affordability issues. And that's something that folks in Michigan are struggling with. Flint, before we were a quality disaster, it was a disaster of affordability because of the high rates of the water. But flushing is helpful. Never using hot water from the tap. We should always be using cold water from the tap. Hot water leaches lead, so never using hot water for cooking or drinking. Those are simple things that people can do. And then if folks do know that they have lead in their plumbing, using a point of use lead clearing filter. And what that means is the filter should be at the end of your kitchen faucet. So the last thing before the water comes out should be a filter at the end of the faucet, or a pitcher filter. Not all filters are created equal, so it has to be certified as a lead clearing filter, and those certifications are done by the National Sanitation Foundation, and for lead it's NSF 53. So that's what can be done individually to protect especially the most vulnerable populations, the most neurodevelopmentally vulnerable, which are pregnant moms and babies, especially, who are using water to be mixed with their formula.